Hello my dear students, I hope everybody are happy and safe at home, and I'm here to discuss with the English chapters today, and I think everybody are ready to receive today's class. So can we begin? Right. So today we will be dealing with the third unit. I know we have completed the first unit. What is the name of the first unit that we have already covered? Yes, a letter to God, right? And the second unit, which was an autobiography, remember the name of the unit? Exactly, that is A Long Walk to Freedom. And now it is time to start with the third unit. Now can we begin? Right, so let's move on to the third unit, two stories about flying. Now just listen and look on the screen. We'll just have a slideshow over there along with my explanation. Okay. So as you can see on screen, you can see the title of the unit. What is the title of the unit? Two Stories About Flying. As the name suggests, you have got a very exciting, wonderful story connected to flying. Not just one story, but two stories. Alright, and along with two stories, you've got a very funny poem as well, How to Tell Wild Animals. So before moving to the poetry part, let's focus on the first chapter or the first story, His First Flight. So as I told you earlier, this chapter comprises of two different exciting stories related to flight or the art of flying, and the two names or the titles of the chapters are, first one, His First Flight by Liam O. Flaherty, and the second chapter is The Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forsyth. Right, so we will be beginning with the first chapter, His First Flight. Now, have you got any connection to this title? Have you seen this title anywhere? Exactly, our textbook's name itself is First Flight. So are you all ready there to take the first flight? Great. So now you will be now understanding that there is got a lot of connection why when our textbook has got the same title. So this story must be that much inspiring and interesting. Alright, so now let's move on to the story of First Flight, His First Flight. Now we'll see who is this pronoun used, his. Okay, so before I move on to the story, I just want to ask you a very simple question. Okay, very simple question that you can easily answer. So can I start? Are you all ready there? Fine. So let me ask you, how did you learn to walk? How did you learn to walk? Come on, tell me. On one fine morning, you just got out of your bed and rushed to your kitchen by walking and asked your mother for a cup of tea? Did you? Never, right? So it's a kind of a gradual process. You tried a lot in your life to learn the skill of walking, and you fell uncountable times. You got up, tried again. If you have got your younger siblings at home, you can actually observe them, or you can actually see how even they are learning walking. That's just the same way how we learn to walk. Right. My next question. Majority sitting in front of me knows cycling. Yes or no? How many boys do know cycling there? Many are there. I mean, all are there. And what about the girls? Yes, very smart. Many girls and boys do know how to cycle. Now, how did you learn cycling? One day you took the cycle and then went on? Never. You learned it. You trained that skill, right? And during that process, a lot of tough time happened. Many times you fell down. Many kind of imbalancing was being causing for you, right? And then you finally succeeded in acquiring the skill of cycling. Just the way we are going to learn how a bird here learning to fly. Now when I talk about birds fly, we all take it for granted that birds are born to fly and flying is never a big deal for them, right? But it is never like that. Learning any skill in anyone's life needs a very conscious effort. We need to deliberately put energy to it. We should have the willingness to learn a skill. So similarly, how a baby is undergoing a struggle to learn the skill of walking, how a person is learning the skill of cycling, maybe just like that, the bird is undergoing a very troublesome time, or high pressure is being used, high conscious efforts are being used in order to learn the art of flying, right? So before I move on to the lesson, I just want to tell you what are the necessary things that we wanted if we want to learn a skill. What are the basic qualities that we need? Anybody can say me? Yes, we should have the need. We should have the wish to learn something, right? And without which I cannot do anything. Suppose, okay, I just want to learn swimming. In fact, I do not know to swim. You know the reason? I'm afraid of water. Because I'm not very much able to swim, I can't just enter the water. Got it? So I have, that is my wish. I really wish to learn swimming. That wish is there in me. Okay, willingness is there in me, but I'm hesitant to enter the water. Unless I enter the water, I cannot train myself how to swim. And do you think I can swim ever in my life? Never. So the similar thing, whenever we are about to learn something, just not the willingness will do, but we should be able to conquer the fear. Remember Nelson Mandela's greatest words that we learned in the last chapter? What is courage? What is courage? What is the definition of courage that we repeatedly discussed in the class? Yes, it is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over the fear. Okay, once we conquer the fear in us, we become a courageous, a brave person. So everywhere, whenever you try to do anything in your life for a first time, learning process or making that happen successfully will take a lot of time, and it needs you to conquer your fear in attempting that learning process. I hope I make sense. I hope it is clear what I am coming to it. Now the similar case is happening with our bird. Not just any bird, it's a seagull. We are going to learn about a bird, seagull. You know what is a seagull? Anybody there? Can you see on the slide there? That is the picture of a seagull. Seagull is a seabird, white in color and gray colored wings are there for a seagull. So this is all about a seagull. How did the seagull learn to take its first flight? What was the problem? Okay, what was the problem for not flying? And what are the tricks that is being used by the family members of the seagull in order to make him take his first flight? These are the main points that we are going to discuss in the chapter, His First Flight. Right? So can we move on to the chapter? And before that, I just want you to read through the next slide, which really gives you the entire theme of the chapter. Before that, I just want to introduce you about the author. Remember the name of the author? Liam O. Liam, it's not clear? Yes. Liam O. Flaherty. Okay, he is an Irish novelist and a short story writer, right? And these are the major works that I can actually show you. That is The Sniper and The Informer. You just want to get an awareness, only this much, that he is a major Irish novelist and a short story writer, and two major works I have noted here, that is The Sniper and The Informer. Right? Now, just have a glance through the slide. Now, this is a story about a painful process of learning an important lesson in life. The main character of the story, as I told you, is a baby seagull, and which has to learn to fly. For most of the birds, as I already told you, we think that birds are born to fly, so it's never a matter for them to take a flight. But initially it is not. Got it? Learning to fly is taken for granted, but we seldom think the mental agony. Agony means the trouble which the bird may have to go through while doing so. This short story beautifully depicts the situation. The parents and siblings of the baby seagull apply all the tricks and cajole. Cajole means persuade, provoke the bird to take the flight, motivating on and on. See, because if we do not have a motivational figure or somebody to encourage us, we won't learn anything. Okay, so the family members were so eagerly motivating and using all the tricks to make the baby seagull to fly and force it to fly. Finally, the baby seagull succeeds in overcoming its fear and learns to fly. Now, this is a very beautiful story depicting the first flight of the seagull. Now, what happens in between? What really happened in the life of seagull which made him fly? This is what we are going to learn in this chapter. So, everyone take out your textbook over there. I'm going to read the first paragraph, and I want everybody to listen to me by looking in your textbook, and after reading the first paragraph, obviously I'm going to ask you questions and you are supposed to answer me. Alright, so let's take your textbook. So here I'm going to read the first paragraph. Ready? Yes. Two stories about flying. And the first section is his first flight. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would not support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Even when each of his brothers and sister, his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had around calling to him, came around calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for a life of him, he could not move. So what is the main trouble of the seagull? Now, where is the seagull living? From the paragraph, it is so evident. Where is the seagull living? Yes, on a ledge. Now, what is a ledge? Ledge is something that you can actually see, like, can you see on the slide? You might have seen on the seashore, if it is a rocky land or mountains are there. Okay, mountains are there means you can see this kind of an extended portion. Okay, this is STP kind of a portion. This is what we call it as ledge. So the bird is living on a ledge, and a great expanse of sea. What is stretching down there? It is a sea. Okay, a vast ocean is there, and the bird is living on the ledge. Now, what about others? Nobody else is there. He is alone there. Now, where are his parents and brothers and sister? Where did they go? They flew away. Okay, but this baby seagull cannot. He thinks that he cannot fly because he does not trust its wings. Underline the point that it does not trust its wings, because that is the inferiority complex that the seagull had. So what he does usually, he will run to the brink. Brink means the end point of the ledge, okay, and then he will just look like that and he will see the vast ocean there, and he got terrified. He's terrified that if he flap his wings and jump forward or plunge forward, definitely he is going down. He will go down and he will drown in the water and he will die. This is the fear that he had, because he never thought that his wings will support him, or he never trusted the power of its wings. So the seagull just came back. Okay, it will just run like that, reach the end point, and then just look at that, look at the sea, will be getting terrified, or the fear will come that it can't fly, and then it comes back to the hall and then rest over there. This is what is happening with the seagull. I hope that paragraph is almost clear to you. And yes, he failed to muster up courage. Muster means to gather courage. Everybody else, even the two brothers and the little sister, could flew away the last day. Even if they had a shorter wing, okay, not very powerful wing as this seagull's wings, still they could do it. But now why I can't do? This is a question that the seagull is having. Or he's more afraid or scared of the view of the ocean there, or the height on which the ledge is situated, and the seagull is so much afraid that he thinks that the wings cannot support him. Okay, now his father and mother had come around calling him shrilly. Now the parents were doing all the possible ways to make this seagull to come out of the fear and to experience flying, because the seagull is never meant to be sitting in the cave or the hole over there on the ledge and then have its food. It should come out, okay, it should do the fishing and it should live on. That's what a seagull is supposed to be in its life. So the parents were doing all the tricks, okay, all the scoldings. Upbraiding means scoldings. Even we are getting scoldings from our parents if we are not doing something that we are supposed to do, right? So this is just like that. They were calling him shrilly with a very sharp voice, upbraiding him, scolding him, and threatening. Even they threatened him. What did they threaten? To let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. So the parents were very strict, and finally they said that, okay, if you are not flying, be here, we will not feed you. If you want to have something, you come out, fly out, and then get your food. Get your food means get your fish. Okay, so here's there the parents are threatening him, saying that we will not give you any food. You be here starving. Got? That was 24 hours ago. So I guess you got the first paragraph done, and here you have got the difficult words meanings as it is. As I told you, what's a seagull, the bird. Ledge, I have shown you what's a ledge. Brink, the end point. Then expanse, the wide stretch of ocean, that is being noted here. Flapping, everybody knows what is flapping. Muster means gather something, okay, mustering courage. Plunge, plunging, okay, jumping forward for it. And shrilly and upbraiding. I hope the first paragraph is clear to everybody. Is it clear? Very good. So can we just move to the second paragraph? Okay. Now the second paragraph again says that was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flying or flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. And all the morning the whole family had walked about the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. So what happens? So he is saying that it was 24 hours before. Means the whole day the seagull was alone on the ledge. And what about others? And he was sitting there on the ledge and watching what his parents and the brothers and the sister was doing. Okay, what they were doing? Yes, they were flying, and the parents' birds were teaching them how to do a perfect kind of a flight. Okay, the art of flying was being taught very perfectly by the parents, and our hero of the story, our seagull, is still there on the ledge watching them freely take their flight over there. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. So nobody came, because it was strictly given the warning that we won't come to you. Okay, we won't give you any food. If you want something, you come out, you fly out. That's it. So nobody approached him. Nobody had any kind of a sympathy towards him. They were engaged in their own flight. His parents flying about with his brothers and sisters. So he was watching that, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim. How to skim means to move lightly just above the surface of the ocean. So how to have a soft and safe landing, as we say for the plane and all, right? Safe and very calm kind of a landing. So just like that, how a bird can very softly fly on the surface of the water. So all these things have been taught. And how to dive for a fish. We know, we might have observed how a kingfisher is highly skillful in catching the fish. That's why it has got the name kingfisher. Okay, so just like that, the seagull parents were teaching its kids or the babies or the chicks how to catch fish. Okay, and in fact he could see his elder brother, the seagull is watching everything, and he could see that his elder brother could catch the first fish. Okay, it could fly above the water and then it could successfully catch one fish. And what about the response of the parents? Yes, they were so happy. They're so happy that the parents circled around this brother bird and they made a proud cackle sound. Suppose, see, that's happening in our house as well, right? If you are you have got any baby or your siblings, anybody at home, and suppose they are taking their first steps in their life, majority of us, what we do, we will have a we will count the steps. Okay, 10 steps. If the child is able to make 10 steps without falling or without any inhibition, it's a kind of a huge victory, kind of a celebration we will be having. Yes, we will be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. The baby reaches the mother's hand, and surely the mother, father, everybody out there are so happy. Just like that, here the big brother bird of the seagull could fly and catch the first fish, and the parents were so happy about it. They were appreciating that fish. The seagull. Alright, and parents circled around raising a proud cackle, and all the morning the whole family had walked about the big plateau. Now what's happening? The whole family except our lazy baby seagull, everybody were walking on the plateau. You know what is a plateau? A higher level area, right? So a plain kind of an area. So he could see the entire family members of his is walking in front of him, just opposite. Okay, it's not on the same ledge, but the opposite, but he could see it. And they were walking midway down opposite cliff, taunting him, teasing him. Okay, and making a kind of a remark of anger, that what is this? Why can't you just join us for the flight? Why are you alone sitting over there? Okay, and they were just teasing or making such kind of a remarks with his cowardice. Cowardice means lack of bravery, no courage. Okay, you do not have any courage to come out. What is this? We will be just teasing each other just with the same kind of comments, right? So just like that, the entire family members started teasing him for not coming out. I hope the second paragraph is clear. Is that? Now just have a glance through the lines or a kind of a summary of the second paragraph. Now he had seen alone for a day after he tried because his parents were busy focusing on his siblings. They helped his siblings master the art of flying and diving for food. Here it is fish. His oldest sibling even caught his first fish, which he proudly ate at the rock while his parents celebrated it. Alright, that morning his parents taunted him all the way for being a coward. Right, so this is the initial segment of the chapter, his first flight. I hope both the paragraphs are clear to you. Now the situation changes. Now the seagull is having a mind or a mentality is shifting that yes, I just want to come out, but he's not ready to come out. Now what is the major problem with the seagull? As the whole day he was there sitting on the ledge or in the hall, it started feeling hungry. Okay, hunger is something that we cannot resist, right? We will do anything and everything for satisfying our hunger. Yes or no? Yes. Even if you're hungry, you won't be listening to my class, right? So hunger is something. So that the whole day the seagull didn't eat anything because it was said by the parents that they will not feed. So the seagull was left to starve. Now that hunger has got a major role for the seagull to take its first flight. So a necessity is the mother of every invention, we say, or the inner urge to learn something. Like if I tell you to speak in English, you won't be, right? Because you know that English is not very important to speak and survive here. But if I put you in a situation or if I put you in a country where, unlike English, something French, German or Spanish, some other language is being talked over there, that's been spoken language over there, and how you're going to do? Then the urge will start because you want to communicate. Okay, there is no other means than learning this language. Then you gradually learn up. Isn't that right? Yes. So just like that, here hunger plays a very important role in making the seagull learn to take its first flight along with someone else's motivation. Now let's see in the next class who really motivated the seagull to take its first flight and what was the result. How did he experience the first flight? Was he really successful in that? Okay, all these things we will be discussing in the next class. I hope the two paragraphs are much clear to you, right? And there are a lot of questions coming to you, and we will be having a review on this class, and the question answer session will be there. So by next time when we meet together again, definitely be ready with your textbook and be ready to answer to the questions. I hope that is clear to everybody there. Is that clear? Hope I can move to the third paragraph. Now the sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. So the daybreak is over and the sun is gaining power. Okay, the blaze, the heat of the sun rays has been sensed by the body of seagull because it's so hungry, so feeble, so it can actually can't survive even the slightest sun ray, okay, that is getting on its body. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the edge and standing on the one leg with other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers of his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food like that, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. So what happened? The entire day the seagull was on the ledge watching his siblings doing the art of flying, okay, and catching the fish. And I think you can see this is the particular type of a fish that is being mentioned in the second paragraph, that the big brother, okay, the brother of the seagull first had a fishing, right? And this is the herring fish. So he could see the brother is fishing and then having the food. Okay, so these kinds of tempting visuals are there for the seagull. And then he could see just the opposite plateau, the family, okay, the birds came over there, they were just taking rest over there. They were not taking any kind of notice to the seagull who is alone sitting on the ledge. Okay, now this paragraph shows the tricks used by the seagull in order to get their attention. Okay, he just want to say that I am hungry, give me something, I am alone here, just look at me. Okay, these kind of attention seeking things, pretensions are being done by the seagull. Now let's see what are the things that he is trying there. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the ledge. So he came out of the hall. Now he is visible to entire family members who is there opposite. Now, and standing on one leg and the other leg is hidden under his wings. Then he closed one eye and then the other, so that others will feel like yes, he is about to sleep. And after doing all these things also, his brothers and father and mother didn't take any notice. Okay, they didn't mind at all. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their neck. So he could see his siblings, what they're doing. They're lying over there. Okay, they dipped their head. Okay, and they are just taking the rest over there. And then what is father doing? Father is preening. Preening means kind of a cleaning or making it tidy. The feathers are making an order, okay, maintaining the feathers. And the only person who was observing all these acts of the seagull was none other but the mother of the seagull, okay. And she was very much sure that she just want to make this seagull fly one day. Everywhere mothers are very important figure in our life, right? Now we'll see how did the mother use a kind of a final trick to make the seagull fly out of the ledge. Now what she was doing there, she was standing on a high hump, you know, okay, the mud, okay, the heap of the mud there, hump on the plateau with her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish. She's not just standing over there, she's having what? A piece of fish. And what is she is doing? It's there at the feet, and then with the beak she's just tearing out the fish. Okay, piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of the beak on the rock. You might have seen birds are, even crow, very usual sight that we are having. They will be just scraping their beak on some kind of a surface. Why they are doing so? Not just to sharpen their beak so that they can eat things easily. Okay, the sight of food maddened him. See, one whole day didn't eat anything, and we can just imagine if we are in the same case and the next day we are seeing some kind of food or a kind of a plate of biryani, never we can stop ourselves, right? So just like that, this sight of fish, okay, mother is just taking, actually she is tempting the seagull to come out. Okay, that's a clever trick used by the mother. She was just taking the piece of fish and then on its beak, and then it was just scraping on and then eating. So this activity or this sight of fish really maddened. He became so crazy. Our seagull became so crazy that he just want to get to the mother. Okay, he just want to get that piece of fish. One thing, he is very, very hungry. Then, the sight of food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. To wet means to sharpen. Alright. Now, this paragraph shows you the summary or the main points of the third paragraph. I just want you to read through. Okay, the same thing has been given there. I hope it is visible to everybody. So, have a read. Should I repeat the lines? Okay, the sun had now risen and he was feeling the heat more than ever because he was empty stomach since the night before. He stepped out of his ledge and pretended to sleep on one leg to gain the attention of his family. Still, no one noticed him. His siblings were sleeping. His father was cleaning his feathers with his beak and his mother was standing on another plateau eating fish while she noticed him. So, only person who noticed the seagull was the mother. The seagull got mad on seeing the fish because he was very hungry, very important point, and he loved to tear away fish and scrape his beak now and then. Okay, I hope that paragraph is clear to you. Yes? Now, here are the collection of the new word or the difficult words with its meaning. Just underline and take a note of this meaning with pencil in your textbook, because the next class is going to be, we will be starting the class with a question answer session up to the third paragraph. Okay. So, I expect you to read the chapter. If you are that much conscious or kind of an anxious, do you know how the seagull finally come out, or what was the trick used by the mother? Was she successful in that? We will see all these things in the next English class, and hope the class is clear to you. Today's 3 paragraphs about his first flight, and I want everybody to read the textbook, very compulsory. Okay, and if you have any doubt or any kind of words that you don't understand, do underline it, and we will definitely discuss that in the next class. Okay, so see you on the next class. Hope everybody will be ready to answer to the simple questions that we will be having in the first review of the class, the next class. Okay, can we wind up today? All right, I'm happy to see you all. I hope you understood the lesson so far that has been discussed, and let's catch up to it in the next class. Okay, thank you all.